Welcome, everybody. My name is Dr. Adam Ingrayo. I'm the National Director and co-founder of the Heroes to Hives program, and this is the 2024 Heroes to Hives program preview video. In this video, I'm going to be discussing a little bit about the program, what to expect in the 2024 year, updates for this year, and updates to also eligibility. So we're adding some new folks that are eligible for the program this year as well. A little background on the program. Heroes to Hives has been training service members and their dependents in the art and science of beekeeping since 2015. And we do this through a 9-month science-based beekeeping education course that is taught by some of the nation's experts in beekeeping. I think one of the things that really sets us apart from other programs is that we are focused on you being taught by experts. We're really in this to make you an excellent beekeeper. This isn't just a fun beekeeping experience, maybe going out and just looking at a beehive. This is going to be taught to you like a college-level beekeeping course. And the education you will receive in this course, when you start interacting with other beekeepers, you just like thousands of our other students who have taken this course will realize how much more experienced you are from taking this course with people that are your contemporaries within the beekeeping industry. Our program is free to service members, their dependents, Gold Star families, and also surviving spouses. Now, when it comes to dependents that are involved in the Heroes to Hives program, dependents are only allowed to participate in the program if they are registered under a service member that is enrolled in the course. And so that means that if you are a dependent of a veteran, you will not be applying for this course. The only way for you to get into the course is for the veteran to apply to be part of this course, and then they add you on their dependents portion of their application. Everybody who participates in the course can add up to 3 dependents to participate in the course. Now, dependents can be of any age to participate in the online course, but for the optional on-ground portion of the course, you must be 18 years or older to participate in those on-ground events. Again, those are optionals, and we'll talk about that here in just a little bit. Since 2015, we've trained over 10,000 individuals in this program, and those participants have been from all U.S. states, all U.S. territories. We've had a lot of active duty personnel that have participated from Asia, Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. So we have Heroes to Hives alumni from all over the globe that have participated in this program. And the reason why the core group of this program, the main part of this program, is online is to make this accessible to everybody. We've had a lot of stories from folks that even have stopped by my farm here where I teach at, and have told us about how they have used Heroes to Hives to stay connected with their spouses in the United States while they're deployed overseas, being able to do Heroes to Hives together, get online, chat about the curriculum, having something fun to do with each other while one of you is on deployment. So we really are focused on making this accessible to wherever you are in the world. Now, we look at beekeeping in a few different ways in this program. We look at it as a hobby. Many of you wanting to take this course are really just interested in learning a little bit about beekeeping. Maybe you're already a farmer and want to add a couple beehives to your farm. Maybe you're trying to get into agriculture and see beekeeping as maybe that way to do it. And I'll tell you, beekeeping is a great way to get into agriculture if you're outside of that industry, because it's a very low cost entry to get into the field of agriculture. You don't need to own land. You just need to own a couple beehives, and most of the time someone will let you put those out on some land of theirs. So there's a lot of barriers to agriculture that are not apparent in the beekeeping industry that are in other industries. So this being a hobby, many of you are just going to want to do that. Some of you are interested in doing this as a career, and we will address a lot of the things that go along with this being a career, meaning of maybe a small business, or maybe you're going to work in the commercial industry. And we have tools in the course to help you with that, like an entire educational module on small business development from the Small Business Administration's Vet Biz Central. We also have an entire module dedicated on breaking into the commercial beekeeping industry with our partners, Project Apis M. So we look at this both as maybe something you're just doing on the side, or maybe this is going to be a full-time gig for you. We also look at this as community. This is your opportunity as a service member to start doing something cool with other service members. You know, we serve together, shoulder to shoulder, protecting each other's lives while we're in the military. And when we get out, there's a lot of disconnect. We go back to our communities, and a lot of times we're struggling with having people that understand what you've been through. your brothers and sisters in arms understand what you've been through. We have shared experience. I'm an Army veteran myself. And really, what this all comes down to is us getting together as military personnel doing something constructive after service or even during service. You look at this two different ways. You protected our national security when you wore that uniform. You are now protecting our food security by supporting the most important managed pollinator on the planet. And so that community is real, intangible within the Heroes to Hives course. We also look at this as a wellness opportunity. And within each module of our course, you will be offered a transpersonal practice to help you connect closer with your bees. The co-founder of the Heroes to Hives program is my wife, Lacey Ingrao, who is a transpersonal psychologist that specializes in nature-based therapy. And so what you'll have in this course also is not just, the academic portions, not just the management portions, but you're also going to have the opportunity to learn practices that you can employ in your own beekeeping endeavors to help you with things like mental health, decompressing, getting over rough days, practices that allow you to drop in with your bees and really become focused and let the rest of the world kind of melt away. This is something that we have been working with for years with the VA on and have been developing these practices and continue to do that. But those are embedded in the Heroes to Hives program. So this is really kind of a multifaceted program that you're looking at that can turn into a career. It could just be a side gig. Maybe you just want to get together with veterans again and do something constructive. Or maybe you're looking for a little bit of wellness that's outside of the norm. Some of us, I see a psychologist myself. Some of us don't do well within four walls. And a lot of times when we're dealing with people that are mental health professionals, a lot of times they don't understand the things that you've been through and been in. And being able to take a little bit of control of your own health through some wellness practices that you can incorporate into your own endeavors is a really great way to help with some of that as you become a beekeeper. So let's talk about the program itself and kind of the nuts and bolts of what to expect. So the education program is broken into two categories. The main program is entirely online. Everything is online, and that is the core Heroes to Hives program. Many of our students, in fact, most of our students, this is what they participate in, is this online component. And the reason is because although we do have workshops in 9 states, we do not have workshops in all 50 states. And there's a reason for that. It takes finances, it takes experts, and it takes the logistics of figuring out proper apiaries and things like that to roll out other states. And so the online program is the core program. If you live in a state where we do not provide on-ground training, what I recommend, and regardless, if we have on-ground training, all of you should be getting engaged with your local beekeeping club and your state beekeeping organization. And that's where you're going to get the good hands-on training from experts. That's where the experts are going to be. And every single state you live in, wherever you're coming from, the management's going to be a little bit different. The seasonality is going to be a little bit different than what we're teaching maybe in Heroes to Hives. I live in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and a lot of the Heroes to Hives curriculum does talk about kind of northern beekeeping, although we talk more broadly about beekeeping in general. You're always going to want to have that local connection. Now, what I'll say about this local connection before I dive into the nuts and bolts of this is if you're looking for a local connection to get training from, make sure that they're an expert. Make sure if their bees aren't surviving year to year, that is not someone you want to learn from. That's someone that's still learning themselves. And so if you are going to join one of these clubs and find someone that's an expert regionally that maybe you can take some classes from, make sure they're a successful beekeeper. There is a lot of folks out there who have we have this kind of 2 to 5 year knowledge area where a lot of folks get really confident in what they know about bees. And in reality, a lot of times what they're talking about is not really actual successful beekeeping. And so what you want to ask folks is if you're going to engage with somebody that's a mentor, what are your overwintering losses? And if their overwintering losses are over 15%, there's probably someone better that you could learn from. We in this course are teaching you from experts. And so we're going to set you up for success with that academic piece, hands-on, where that rubber meets the road. Finding someone that's an expert in your own region, maybe even, if you live in a big state like California, Southern California to Central California to Northern California, all is going to be different as far as seasonality. And so just make sure that you're looking for some local experts too, to kind of dovetail your experience with Heroes to Hives. But let's talk about the program in the main program, which is our online, and the on ground. So the main program, which all of you will participate in if you register for the Heroes to Hives program this year, is online. Again, all online. 9 months. It starts in March and it goes all the way through November. And essentially what happens, you register for the program from November 1st to February 28th. You register for the program. Now, if you're an alumni, you can take the program again. You just got to re-register. So you register for the program at heroestohives.com during that registration period. And then the last week in March, we will start sending you a monthly educational module, and that goes on until November. So every month you get a module of educational material. Now, what's in those modules? Well, what's in it is pre-recorded lectures, pre-recorded instructional videos, and support resources. And so when you take the course, what you can expect as an academic load is 43 lectures. Those lectures are somewhere between a half hour and an hour and 20 minutes in length. And they're broadly, they're specific to certain areas of beekeeping, but a lot of them are kind of broad, meant to give you kind of a depth of understanding of beekeeping. So you'll have beekeeping lectures in biology of the individual, biology of the superorganism, integrated pest management, hive handling, all of these types of major topics related to beekeeping. But you will also get within that lecture curriculum also things on business development from Vet Biz Central, things on marketing, like how to market yourself as a farmer, things on commercial beekeeping. Maybe you want to get into the commercial beekeeping realm. We've got lectures on that as well and how to get into that realm. And then, like I said earlier, the therapeutic practices that are going to come with each one of those. Now, in addition to the lectures, we also have instructional videos at each one of these. The instructional videos are me and an apiary teaching you how to do something specific. Maybe it's doing a hive inspection. Maybe it's checking varroa mite levels through monitoring with an alcohol wash. Maybe it's applying a miticide like Formic Pro or oxalic acid. We cover these in topic-specific, short-format instructional videos. So when you have a question about a specific management task in the apiary, you've got a video you can click on that's 5 to 20 minutes that's going to teach you how to do that management task. Now, at the end of all of this curriculum, at the end of all of this, you have the opportunity to take a comprehensive final exam. Our comprehensive final exam covers required materials throughout the curriculum, and not all of the material is required lecture material. We have that labeled within the course material, but those required lecture materials are what we're going to test you on in a final exam, which is given in October and November of each year. The final exam is 100 questions. You get a 70% or better, and you pass the course. You have unlimited time, unlimited attempts to take the exam. It's open book, self-paced. So you take it when you're comfortable taking it, and you can use resources to support yourself. But if you pass that exam, you get this certificate of completion. Now, that certificate of completion actually means something in the industry. It is recognized by the U.S. Department of Agriculture as 1 year of experience in agriculture. For those of you that are new to agriculture, in order to be eligible for some USDA programs, including some loan programs, you have to have a certain number of years of experience working in agriculture. Our program counts as one of those years. In addition, if you're an individual who takes the Heroes to Hives course, like thousands of students before you, and really gets excited about bees and thinking like, what is the next step after Heroes to Hives? We have an agreement with the Great Plains Master Beekeeping Program at the University of Nebraska, where when you complete this certificate of completion exam, we then can transfer all of your Heroes to Hives credit over to the GPMB program, and they fulfill your entire apprenticeship level of that course. The GPMB program has an apprentice level, a journeyman level, and then a master level. You complete that master level, you are now a master beekeeper, like other Heroes to Hives students before you who have now become master beekeepers through that program. Really great way to continue your education. So it just doesn't end at Heroes to Hives. What we do, we train you in a very veteran-focused environment And then we give you the ability to have an educational pathway to continue your education to a master beekeeping certificate. That's a really important thing. When you think about in our industry, most people don't go to college to become beekeepers. What they do is they take master beekeeping courses, and those are very recognized within our industry as essentially you are an expert in beekeeping with a master beekeeping certificate. Now, in addition to the online program, which, like I said, is a standalone program, most of you will just be involved in the online program. But if you live in one of the states where we have on ground training, you may also have the opportunity to do some hands on work with us in a live bee yard. We have on ground workshops in Michigan, Missouri, Minnesota, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Indiana, Pennsylvania, Maryland, and North Carolina currently. Now, we're adding new states all the time, but we usually add maybe one or two a year because we have a lot of criteria that we want to make sure that those educators have in place for you to be working with them on a hand-on basis. And the main one is that they need to be an expert in order to be working with us and training you on beekeeping. Hands-on training oftentimes includes things like hive handling, proper hive handling, pest and pathogen management, harvesting and processing honey, accessibility, which is a really big one. Accessibility is a major focus of the Heroes to Hives program. Historically, over 60% of our students are service-connected disabled veterans, just like myself, and we work very closely with an organization, a national organization called Agribility, which helps individuals continue farming with disabilities. And we have sent hundreds of Heroes to Hives students to Agribility to have them do assessments with them to actually figure out what type of technologies can we incorporate into a bee operation to help you with your disabilities. This picture that you see at the bottom here, this is our ag engineer from Agribility in Michigan and a close friend of mine who I've been working with for over a decade developing accessible technologies for beekeepers. This is Ned Stoller. He's an ag engineer. And what he's showing you right here is a way to move hive bodies, heavy hive bodies, without lifting anything with a hitch-mounted crane that he custom made. You see a hive lifter there also on the right part of the picture. These are technologies that we will teach you about both in the online course and on ground to basically be able to use to help you with your disabilities. Most of you that have served in the military, what are the main injuries that we typically have? Neck, back, knees, and ankles. All because of all the crazy stuff we end up doing, right? You know, carrying a 70-pound rucksack around with you. Those types of activities that you've been doing for years. They have impact on the body, but it doesn't mean you can't beekeep. And we are really been leading this area with Agribility in assistive technologies for beekeepers nationally for many, many years. Now, one thing we are changing in 2024, which we have not done in previous years, is that we are opening workshops to all veterans now. So whether you're a current student enrolled in the 2024 program or an alumni, or maybe you've got a friend that you want to bring to a Heroes to Hives event because you think they're going to be a future student, all of those folks are welcome to join us at these workshops in these states. Now, some of these workshops will have a limited number of people that can participate because the space is limited. Others won't. And so what we do during the course is when you get the emails from us once a month, there is a syllabus for the online course, which shows you everything you can expect from the online course. But there's a syllabus also for the on-ground portions of the course, which will have the organizations listed in that syllabus of who we work with in those states. And we connect you directly with those individuals through that on-ground syllabus. So if you've had a friend that you want to bring with you that's a veteran, or if you've taken the course before and you want to join us for one of these things, you're welcome to. Now, one thing we will have in 2024, which is a new thing for us this year, and I can see that the dates there is wrong there at the bottom, but on June 27th and 28th of 2024, we will be hosting the first Heroes to Hives conference. Now, this is going to be at the University of Minnesota's Bee and Pollinator Discovery Center. Very exciting. We're almost 10 years into the Heroes to Hives program. We've never had our own conference. We participate in a lot of other conferences, but we've never had our own conference. And this conference is going to be specific to Heroes to Hives. It's going to be really, when you think of conferences, it's not going to be like your typical sit down and listen conference. We actually are going to have workstations where you can go and work bees with us. We have an extraction facility at this facility where we'll be showing you how to do extraction, value added products, pollinator habitat, all sorts of fun interactive workshops, not just sitting in a chair listening to somebody. So that'll be coming up here this year in June. So something to look out for as well as part of the 2024 Heroes to Hives program. Now, the Heroes to Hives conference is not included in the course. This will be a fee. There will be a fee for this conference to participate in it. We will hopefully be able to have this recorded so that it'll be available to everybody in the course, but this will be an in-person conference that will be actually limited in enrollment too. So just know that, we'll be providing you with information about this as we get closer to it, but it is not part of your 2024 registration. It is something separate. All right, so that's kind of what you can expect from the course this year. Now, what do we hear from our students as far as, the benefits from the course? Just to kind of give you an idea of what you can expect. Now, what I'll tell you just right off the bat, this is a big commitment. 9 months of education, over 120 hours of curriculum that you'll be offered. Now, just keep that in mind. Y'all got busy lives, and so do I. I totally understand if you can't complete the course in 1 year. There's no expectation that anybody takes the certificate of completion exam. If you want to do that, that is totally optional. But if you are looking for just getting some experience, and maybe you don't have an expectation to start these next year or the year after, but you want to kind of get a little learning under your belt, this course is for you. You can take this course as many times as you want to get that educational component that you're looking for. But we tell folks that take the course, you're going to get out of it what you put into it. The harder you work at this, the more studious you are, the more you take notes, the more you watch lectures, all of those things are going to impact your knowledge base for beekeeping. And if you take this course seriously, you're going to see some pretty outstanding benefits from it. Because like I said in the beginning, when you look at others, and I've heard this hundreds of times from our students, when you go to a bee club or something like that, and you are looking at your contemporaries in that room that have the same number of years in beekeeping as you, but you have this education under your belt, you are going to see the difference that it makes taking this course seriously, because you are years ahead of your contemporaries in those situations. So take this course seriously. You're going to get a lot out of it. But what it offers our students is basically professional training in beekeeping. Like I said, you're learning from some of the nation's experts in beekeeping. And I'll be leading you through as the primary instructor through this course. I've got 16 years of beekeeping experience. I've been teaching for over a decade. I've got 30 years of experience in specialty crop agriculture. I live, eat, and breathe sustainable agriculture. I've been a co-author on beekeeping books. I have published in Bee Culture magazine. So I do a lot around this. Now, I'm your lead instructor, but you're also going to have folks like Marla Spivak from University of Minnesota, Katie Lee from University of Minnesota, experts in these fields, Anna Hecht from Michigan State University, who are going to be providing you with awesome expert level education in this course. So you are learning from experts, and this is a professional training course. This isn't just going out and having fun with bees, although we have lots of fun with bees. We are here to train you to be a good beekeeper, a beekeeper who has bees that live from year to year, not a bee haver who replaces bees every year because they die. Our certificate is nationally recognized. Like I said, the USDA and Great Plains Master Beekeeping course recognize our certificate. We offer you that pathway to an educational pathway to that Master Beekeeping certificate. We're empowering you with knowledge. You all, as veterans, as service members, you go through a ton of leadership training in the military, and we're empowering you with a new skill set as you get away from the military that you can go back into your community and you can actually start teaching people with. We have many Heroes to Hives students who have gone on to teach their own beekeeping courses, teach for us as trainers for the Heroes to Hives course. So we are empowering you to be that next generation of beekeeping leader in the United States. Job opportunities. There are a ton of job opportunities in the commercial beekeeping industry, and we'll be talking to you about those opportunities. There's opportunities for personal wellness as well, and that's through those therapeutic practices that you'll have throughout the course, and then getting back together as community. Service members hanging out over bees. What is better than that? We get out of the military, and a lot of times we lose that connection to our military family. This is a great way to get together around something really productive and really important for us as the United States related to our food security. Now, what are the testimonials we get from students? That the course connects us with nature. A lot of times we get disconnected from the natural cycles of life while we're serving in the military. This allows us to kind of slow things down and get back to that natural progression of life. It allows us to nurture instead of destroy. Those of you that were part of combat jobs, combat MOSs in the military, you were trained to destroy things. I was a Patriot missile fire controller. You shoot stuff out of the sky. You're destroying, things out of the sky. A lot of you that were maybe in the Marine Corps or the Army, doorbusters in the middle of Fallujah. These things are destructive activities that we do because we're trained in them, and we do them because that's how we survive in these environments. But when we get home, it's hard to turn off that destructive mindset and move back to a nurturing mindset. Keeping bees and caring for bees is a great way to start shifting that mindset. Brings us back together as military personnel over something productive, offers us stability and support. Some of you may be feeling like, there's just all this kind of availability to you. When I got in the military, everybody was like, you can do whatever you want. And it's like, well, I've been having people tell me what to do all the time. It's hard to kind of take that on. And so beekeeping can offer you a little bit of stability. Now you got someone you got to check into, your bees, you got to be accountable to them. And if you're one of those individuals that's part of, a service connected disability, maybe you're 100% unemployable, this is also going to allow you to supplement a little income. You get a little honey money off of your bees. And that's a really nice way to supplement some income. It also offers you an opportunity to engage your families. If you've been deployed, 1, 2, 3, 4 times overseas and missed parts of the family, your kids growing up, it strains your relationships with your spouses. What better way to kind of rebuild those bonds than engaging everybody in beekeeping? This is why we allow dependents to participate in the course. We just don't allow anybody that's connected to a veteran participate. You have to be a dependent of a participating veteran specifically because we want to build those familial bonds back over beekeeping. And we've seen that happen hundreds of times with our students. We get a lot of folks that say it helps you with your mental health. Now, we're part of a group with the VA that's actually doing the research to establish beekeeping as an evidence-based therapy for mental health. But I'll tell you right now, there is nothing in the literature that says that beekeeping is going to help you with your mental health. But I will tell you anecdotally, we see hundreds of comments every year from our students saying that beekeeping helps their mental health. Things like depression, loneliness, anxiety, suicide tendencies. Anecdotally, we see that all the time. But again, we are working with the VA to get the real data to show that this is actually happening with our veterans. And hopefully we'll be publishing that in the next couple of years. All right, so to wrap things up, you're interested in the Heroes to Hives program. This is our group of partners that we work with to provide this program to you. It takes a whole host of people, experts, organizations to pull this off. And these are the organizations that are going to be bringing this program to you in the 2024 program. Now, if you're interested in registering for the Heroes to Hives program, registration again is open from November 1st to February 28th of this year and next year. So February 28th, 2024, the application will close at 11:59 Eastern Standard Time. If you put in an application before then, what will happen is you will get an email response from us immediately after you submit your application verifying that yes, you are actually enrolled in the course. Now remember, we do not start the course until the end of March. The last week in March is when we will start the course. But if you're interested in applying for the Heroes to Hives program, registering for the program this year, you're going to go to heroestohives.com during that registration period and fill out the application. Submit the application. Again, you'll get an email back from us confirming that you have been enrolled. And again, if you're a service member and you want to add a few of your dependents, you can add up to 3 of your dependents under your application. In addition, if you're a surviving spouse of military personnel, you can be part of this program as well. And if you are a Gold Star family, we welcome you to this course as well. For more information about the course itself, you can go to heroestohives.org. If you have any questions about the course itself and need to have those directed to somebody, you can direct them to me, Adam Ingrayo, at adam@miffs.org. Now, to wrap things up, I just want to say thank you, and that the Heroes to Hives program is housed at Michigan Food and Farming Systems. We are a statewide nonprofit that's been serving underserved communities in agriculture since 1998, and Heroes to Hives is our largest national program, well, I should say international program that we offer. So we appreciate you taking the time to view this video and hope to see you in the 2024 Heroes to Hives course. Thank you.